I still remember the day Zara called me, her voice carrying a strange mix of panic and excitement. "I need you," she said, and without asking questions, I went straight to her. That's when she told me everything. She had been selected for a famous couples reality show, but there was a twist. She needed to enter with a fiancé. A fake fiancé. Me. At first, I laughed it off, thinking it was some kind of joke, but when she placed the contract in front of me, it suddenly became real. Cameras, a luxury villa, weekly challenges, and a staged romance. It was all part of the game. I looked into her eyes and saw something deeper than just a request. I saw trust. I was her best friend, and maybe that's why I said yes. I had no idea back then that this fake story would awaken the most real feelings inside me. When we arrived on set, everything felt surreal. Bright lights, perfect couples, and stories of love all around us. Everyone seemed so real, except us. But the moment Zara held my hand and smiled at me in front of the cameras, something shifted. It didn't feel as fake as I had thought it would. The first few days of the show were all about strategy and survival. Every challenge required us to prove our chemistry, and somehow we always managed to play our roles perfectly. Holding her hand, looking into her eyes, laughing together, it all started to feel natural. I couldn't tell when the acting ended and reality began. One night, as we sat together on the terrace, watching the city lights flicker below, Zara suddenly asked, "What if this was real?" I laughed it off, but my heart didn't. I looked at her, and there was something in her expression I had never seen before, something deeper. "Then maybe we wouldn't have made it this far," I replied with a soft smile. But the truth was, I was scared that this fake relationship might expose the real feelings growing inside me. The next day, we had a challenge where we had to tell our love story in front of everyone. When Zara looked at me and said I was her safest place, my eyes filled with tears. For the audience, it might have been acting, but for me, it was becoming real. As the show progressed, the distance between us slowly disappeared. Every touch, every glance, every quiet moment carried a new kind of meaning. One day, we were given an emotional task, to write a letter to our partner. I thought I would write something scripted, something safe, but the moment I started writing, the words came straight from my heart. I wrote about how Zara was no longer just my best friend, how her presence made my world feel complete. When she read the letter, the emotions in her eyes were unforgettable. That night, we sat in silence, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was the kind of silence where everything had already been said. Zara gently held my hand and whispered, "I think we're losing control." I looked at her and replied softly, "Maybe we don't need control." In that moment, the cameras, the competition, everything faded away. It was just us, and the truth we were both too afraid to fully accept. But not every story is easy. As the finale approached, a major twist was announced. Each couple had to confess their true feelings, or they would be eliminated. This was no longer just a game, it was a choice. Either we tell the truth to the world, or we walk away safely behind a lie. Zara was confused, so was I. If we told the truth, people might say it was all just for the show, and if we lied, we would be betraying ourselves. That night, we had the longest conversation of our lives. Zara said, "I don't want to lose you, even if all of this ends." I held her face in my hands and said, "Then let's tell the truth. Whatever happens, we'll face it together." The next day, as we stood on stage under the bright lights, the audience waiting, Zara looked at me and spoke without any script. This started as something fake, but now it's the most real part of my life. Everything after that felt like a blur, but one thing was clear: we had chosen honesty. Life after the show was never the same again. Some people judged us, others supported us, but the most important thing was that we had each other. What started as a lie had turned into something undeniably real. Sometimes we think back to that first phone call and laugh, how one unexpected decision changed everything. Zara still smiles the same way, but now there's no hesitation in it. And me, I'm no longer afraid of my feelings. We learned that sometimes the most beautiful things in life are the ones you never plan. The reality show was just a stage. The real story began after it ended. And whenever someone asks me if it was worth it, I simply hold Zara's hand and say, if I had the chance again, I would still become her fake fiancé, because that's how I found my real love.